Hello, everybody. It's Keagan here. How is everybody doing? I hope you're all having a good day today. And it's time for another video once again. Before we get started with this video, I don't know if you can hear this in the background, but if you can hear that, that's my fan. I have it on in this video because it's hot in my room right now, so I have the fan on while I do this video. Anywho, let's get on with the video. Today I'm bringing you guys another movie review video once again, and we're going to be talking about two films that I saw in theaters recently. No, not Sinners. I haven't seen that one yet, but I am going to be seeing that one this weekend, and I will be talking about that one in another video. But for this video, we're going to be talking about two movies I saw in theaters recently, so let's talk about them. The first film we're going to be talking about is The Shrouds, the new film from Canadian filmmaker David Cronenberg, one of my favorite filmmakers. If you've been on my channel for a while, or maybe you're new to the channel, you may or may not know that I'm a big fan of David Cronenberg. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. I just really like his films. Some of my favorite films from David Cronenberg are Existence, Naked Lunch, Videodrome, and my personal favorite is Crash. I love that movie. I'm actually planning to do an updated review of that movie sometime this year. I don't know when, but it will be coming out this year, my updated review of Crash. Anywho, even if not all of David Cronenberg's films are great, I consider David Cronenberg to be one of Canada's finest filmmakers, even if not all of his films are great. Now, the last couple movies from David Cronenberg weren't all that great. They range from being okay to just not so great. I'd say the last truly great film that David Cronenberg directed was Eastern Promises from 2007. That one was his last truly great film. I'm trying to remember. A Dangerous Method, the film that came out after Eastern Promises. I remember that one was good. I thought that one was pretty good, but it wasn't really top tier great, but it was still an enjoyable movie. I thought Michael Fassbender, Viggo Mortensen, and Keira Knightley were all really good in that movie too. I didn't like Cosmopolis. Maps to the Stars was all right, I guess. And then after Maps to the Stars, which came out in 2014, Cronenberg went on a hiatus, and then he came back with Crimes of the Future in 2022, which is not to be confused with Cronenberg's short film titled Crimes of the Future. That's a completely different project that Cronenberg did. I remember liking Crimes of the Future, but I didn't love it either. I just don't really remember that one very well. I kind of need to revisit that one. And now we got this new film, The Shrouds. I saw this one last week, and I saw it blindly as possible. I tried to avoid all the trailers for it, and I managed to see it without seeing a single trailer for it. And, well, it's unfortunately, I was very disappointed with this one, but we'll get to more on that one shortly. We'll just quickly go through the story, and then we'll get into my thoughts on the movie a little more. In this film, it takes place in the near future, and it follows this guy named Karsh, played by Vincent Cassel, who you might know from the movies Irreversible, Black Swan, Eastern Promises, and La Haine, which I talked about a little while ago. Basically, Karsh is this big, successful businessman who runs a restaurant and is one of the founders for this company that uses technology on grave sites for people to examine the bodies of their loved ones who are buried at sites that use these devices. Like, they put cameras inside the tomb so people can examine their loved ones. And our protagonist himself lost his wife a few years ago from a disease. And then one day, someone came in and vandalized the main burial site of his company, including the one where his wife is buried in. And he's trying to find out who is responsible for it and why. And I don't want to give away too much, but that's what the main premise of the film is about. Now, the premise for this film was very interesting. It's very interesting to me. And the idea for this story actually came from Cronenberg, who, during his hiatus from filmmaking in 2017, his wife Carolyn passed away from cancer at the age of 66. And and we all know that dealing the death of a loved one, especially if it's your spouse or a friend, can be really hard on someone. And then Cronenberg got the idea to do this film, like the story for this film, based on his wife. And I honestly found the story to be really interesting. Despite this movie having an intriguing premise, I unfortunately was really disappointed with this movie. I mean, it had an interesting premise, and it did have its moments at times too, but unfortunately the movie really wasn't all that great, and it didn't really connect with me very well, in all honesty. But I mean, it did have its moments. It had some weird moments. The cinematography wasn't bad. The lighting in some scenes were actually really good too. Like, some of the scenes were really well lit, and the performances weren't bad either. I mean, Vincent Cassel and Diane Kruger did pretty good, although Diane Kruger was barely in the movie. Guy Pearce was fine, I guess. Not his best performance compared to The Brutalist, one of his more recent performances. But overall, the movie was a pretty big letdown for me, and it just could have been so much better. The biggest problem I have with this movie is the story is all over the place, and there are too many side plots. Many of them were really unnecessary and just don't really add anything to the story. I mean, the movie started out good for the first half, and by the second or the third half, I mean, probably the third half, I'd say, it really went downhill. It was just like, what happened? And like, there's this part where there's like a conspiracy involving the Russian government and the Chinese government or something. I don't really remember. I honestly thought it was kind of stupid, honestly. I mean, this movie it was a mess. It was a disappointment, and it could have been so much better. I mean, I love David Cronenberg's movies, but this one is definitely one of his weaker films. But I do have to give it some credit because the film was inspired by his late wife, and the weird thing is about this movie, like, the main character looks almost exactly like Cronenberg himself. Like, this whole time while I was watching the movie, I was thinking to myself, that's not a self insert of Cronenberg, is it? Like, it's just so weird but interesting at the same time. Like, Vincent Cassel's character looks so much like the real David Cronenberg. Like, look at this picture and just tell me that's not a character insert. They look so much alike. So, yeah. But overall, this movie, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's probably my least favorite movie from Cronenberg that I've seen. I still love Cronenberg's other stuff like Crash, Videodrome and stuff. I mean, he still does great. He does make some great movies, but some of his movies are not all great. And sadly, in this case, this is one of those movies where it's not all that great. Not the worst movie I've seen this year so far, but it was a pretty disappointing movie to say the least. Anyways, I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving The Shrouds a 5 out of 10. Not the worst, but it was a pretty big letdown for me. I mean, I like you, Cronenberg, but this is not one of your best movies. And the last film we're going to be talking about in this video is The Ugly Stepsister. This is a body horror comedy from Norway, and it was written and directed by Emily Bletfeldt, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And this is also her debut film. Basically, this is a body horror retelling of Cinderella, but in the perspective of one of the stepsisters. And that idea alone really got my attention, and I saw it at the Metro on Monday, and I really, really liked it. I thought this one was great. It was hilarious. It was pretty gory. It was well made. It had some great cinematography. And it's so far definitely going to be on my list of one of my favorite movies of this year so far. And I really liked it. In this film, it follows a young girl named Elvira who is competing against her stepsister to get the attention of the prince, who is hosting a ball to pick out his bride. And it's basically all a competition of who will win the prince's heart. So it's basically a competition between stepsister and stepsister, and Elvira goes to the extreme by getting herself physically perfect enough to get the prince's attention and make a couple sacrifices along the way. And I really don't want to give away too much of the story and give away any specific details, but you should really check this movie out. I really, really liked it. It is very well made. It is pretty gory. It is hilarious. And I really liked it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Substance, a little bit. Just a little more gross, I'd say. And it also kind of reminds me a little bit of the movie Pearl. But honestly, I think The Ugly Stepsister is a much better movie than Pearl. Call me crazy, but yeah, I said it. It's better than Pearl. But I saw it and I loved every minute of it. It is just so well made, and like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I saw it like a couple days ago, and I forgot to say this. This is also a Shudder movie. This is the same people that released Late Night with the Devil, Stop Motion, Mad God, and a couple of other bangers. While not everything they release are bangers, but they do release genuinely some awesome horror titles if you're big into horror movies. And I'd say this is one of their best stuff they put out. It's really well made, and the director and everyone involved did a great job with the film. And overall, it's a great film that I really enjoyed. If you like body horror movies, then you'll probably love this one. It's definitely well worth checking out, and yeah, I really, really liked it. I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving The Ugly Stepsister an 8.5 out of 10. Although maybe it might change to a 9 out of 10, but we'll see. But for now, it's 8.5 out of 10. Well, there you guys have it. That's going to be it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. And what do you guys think of these movies? Let me know your thoughts on these in the comments below. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos, you guys. But until then, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one, everybody. Peace. Bye-bye.